Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Crocker. We have more news that normally I would talk about in class, and I know I've already done this a couple times, but stuff just keeps popping up. And it's ridiculous how much news is being produced right now. But this is such a big deal and so complicated that I'm doing the rare talking head inside a PowerPoint slide arrangement. So if you can't find me, here I am. I'm up in the corner. Hi, everybody. I'm right here, trying to walk us through this complicated minefield. Now, the special investigation by the FBI into Russian interference in the 2016 election just got a little more interesting. Because we've known for a while that he wants to talk to the president. We've also, I believe we've known for a while that the special investigation has given the president the questions they want to ask him. But we didn't know until 2 days ago what exactly those questions were. That's where today's interesting little developments come in. Now, I just want to remind us of the timeline. Remember, back in July in 2016, the FBI at this point believes Russia is trying to interfere in our presidential election. So the director, then, James Comey, begins an investigation. November 16 comes around, Trump gets elected, but the investigation continues. And in May 2017, Comey is fired. So his second command, a guy named Rod Rosenstein, creates a special counsel to continue the investigation. You create special counsels because it is believed that the president can't fire them. And if the president is a target of the investigation, obviously that's kind of important. So a guy named Bob Mueller, who we just saw on the previous page, he's the guy in charge to run it. Now keep in mind, we understand what exactly the task they are given here. Their task is to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election and issue any charges that stem from that investigation. And man, oh man, have there been some charges issued. We have seen over 100 charges issued, ranging from lying to the FBI, conspiracy to defraud the United States, financial fraud, unregistering or being an unregistered agent of a foreign national. These are all big-time national felonies of the highest order that we have seen issued in this investigation. 19 people have been charged, including George Papadopoulos, a Trump campaign advisor. He pled guilty. Rick Gates, a Trump campaign advisor. He pled guilty. Paul Manafort, a Trump campaign chairman. He's pled not guilty and currently is facing charges. And Michael Flynn, who is Trump's campaign advisor and national security advisor once he became president. He was our national security advisor. He too has pled guilty. So, why do we need to interview Trump to begin with? Well, for several reasons. First of all, Russia was clearly interfering in the 2016 election to get Trump elected and Hillary Clinton defeated. We also know that there were numerous points of contact between Trump's orbit and Russia before and during the campaign. Trump's Miss America was held in Moscow in 2013. Trump made contact with Russian oligarchs, says he met with the highest Russian officials, although he won't clarify on that. That could involve Putin himself. And this is where a lot of the P-tape allegations come from. Maybe you've heard the claim that Trump went to a hotel in Russia and the Russians paid to have prostitutes urinate on a bed for him. That's an allegation that, as we know in public, is not yet proven. If it can be proven, it might be false. But this is the trip that those allegations come from. Trump's own son, Donald Jr., and Paul Manafort met with Russian informants in Trump Tower during the campaign because the Russians promised they had dirt on Hillary. Several people in Trump's orbit were either communicating directly with Russia or Russian agents during the campaign. Papadopoulos, Gates, Flynn, Manafort, another campaign advisor, Roger Stone, Donald Jr., Jared Kushner's Trump's son-in-law, Jeff Sessions, a campaign advisor, later would become and is currently Trump's attorney general. Even Michael Cohen, who you may know as Trump's lawyer. Trump has publicly called for Russia to hack Hillary's emails during the campaign. It's believed that Trump and his family have been floated a lot of money from Russia at various points in his life, and as a result, he could be beholden to them. Trump has taken actions over the course of the FBI investigation that could constitute obstruction of justice. He has asked then James Comey to ease off Flynn investigations. He has fired James Comey. So what we are dealing with here is currently Trump's lawyers have been meeting with the special counsel to negotiate terms of the interview. If he won't interview, Mueller has raised the possibility of subpoenaing the president. It's not clear he can do that, but that might be interesting. In addition to that, Trump himself says he's looking forward to it. He really wants to do it. It's looking like it's going to happen. The lawyers that have resisted this have been fired, so it really does look like this is going to happen. Now, like I said, a couple days ago, the New York Times printed a list of 49 questions that Mueller wants to ask the president. We got leaked those questions. So the questions are super interesting. There's actually 4 categories of them. The first set of questions relate to Michael Flynn. Keep in mind, Flynn was the National Security Advisor for 19 days. He was only National Security Advisor for 19 days because he got fired. He was fired for lying to the president. Later, he has pled guilty to lying to the FBI. Apparently, he had conversations with Russia about sanctions that the Obama administration punished Russia with. And he was telling them something along the lines of, hey, hang tight. As soon as we get in power, we'll ease up on those sanctions. He also failed to disclose that he was a foreign lobbyist on behalf of Turkey. Michael Flynn and his son are just in tons of legal problems, and apparently he's been working with the FBI to lessen the charges on him and his son. So the questions about him: what did Trump know about the phone calls Flynn made regarding those sanctions? How was the decision made to fire him? Because Trump was actually confronted with a claim that Flynn may have been a liar a week or two before he actually got fired. So if they knew he was a liar, if they knew he was compromised, why'd they keep him around for so long? And what outreach did Trump or his lawyers make to Flynn about offering him a pardon? As soon as it got reported that Flynn was cooperating with FBI, there was another report saying that Trump's lawyers were trying to offer him a pardon. Perhaps to get him to shut up? Maybe. Second category of questions related to James Comey. Keep in mind, James Comey was FBI director. He was investigating Russian interference and fired. Now, Trump said on national television he fired him due to the Russian investigation. Seems kind of obstruction of justice-y. Then he said he was fired because he did a bad job, so he has conflicting statements. And really, he just has a ton of conflicting statements about James Comey. Comey was also investigating Michael Flynn. It's been reported that Trump asked Comey, well, actually Comey testified, that Trump asked Comey to ease off of Michael Flynn. So the questions about James Comey include: what was the purpose of meeting with Comey about Flynn? When and why did you decide to fire Comey? Did you actually decide to do it because of the Russia investigation? What did you mean when you said you fired Comey because of the Russia investigation? So these are all obstruction of justice type questions. Third category of questions: questions about Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions is Trump's Attorney General. He's in charge of the Justice Department of the United States. He too has made conflicting statements on his contacts with Russia during the campaign. He's had to clarify again and again. How much did you talk to Russia? Why did you talk to Russia? The Justice Department itself oversees the FBI. But because of his Russia inconsistencies, Sessions has recused himself from the FBI's investigation. This has infuriated the president, who wanted Sessions involved for whatever reason, and now tweets tons of insults about him. Questions about Sessions. What did you do regarding Sessions' recusal? Why did you try to change his mind about that? Because apparently Trump's lawyers did try to change his mind about recusing himself. What discussions have you had about terminating Mueller and the special counsel? That's Justice Department matters. And, we've had reports that Trump on 2 separate occasions has inquired about firing the special counsel. Fourth category of questions involves this guy. You've seen him a lot, unfortunately, Vladimir Putin. What questions regarding Russian collusion? So we know Trump met with Russian oligarchs. We know his son and campaign manager met with Russian informants because they promised dirt on Hillary. We know Trump got the Republican Party to ease up on their platform about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We know that Flynn talked to Russia about easing up on Russian sanctions. We know that Russia hacked Hillary's emails and released them to make them look bad and help Trump win. We know that Trump's advisor, Roger Stone, communicated with WikiLeaks, which has been affiliated with Russia. We know that Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, wanted to set up a back channel to talk to Russia privately so that nobody could listen in. Just a whole bunch of these questions about collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. So, how aware were you, Mr. President, of the Trump Tower meeting during the campaign? What discussions have you had regarding Russian sanctions? And during the campaign, what did you know about Russian hacking? What did you know about WikiLeaks, the back channel, the Ukraine proposal, all these different things involving Russia and the special counsel. Russia and Russian collusion. Let me say that again. All these different questions involving the Trump campaign and Russian collusion. It's a tongue twister because there's so many different elements involved, and that's why this was such an interesting article. I will link the article in my video description down below. So just keep in mind, even though he has given these questions to the president has ages now to prepare for them, they're just starter questions. Trump can prep for these as much as he wants, but at the end of the day, the goal is to get this guy talking and then ask him follow-up question after follow-up question after follow-up question. They wanted 12 hours with him. We'll see how long they can get him in a room. Now, it's also possible that Mueller has the answer to a lot of these questions, so he can compare what the president says to reality, because lying to the FBI is, in fact, an investigation. So things are getting really interesting, because Trump himself has claimed that this is a witch hunt. But based on all of these questions he's asking and the stuff we already know, this is looking less and less witch hunty and more problematic for the president. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, or just take a long bath, because this is just a ridiculous story with grime all over it. Stay tuned as we see the conclusion as to whether or not the president gets an interview and what actually happens from the fallout. Thanks for watching.